Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Today for Swatch With Me Sunday, I am opening a package from Melissa Mary Jenkins. She is a beautiful artist who uses natural pigments and natural inks made from things like avocado and flowers and grapes. And so I am just like in love with her work, in love with her product. Although this is my first time getting it, just seeing on Instagram and things that she's been using, and so it's like I have to try these. So she had a recent update in her Etsy shop after being away for a while, and I snagged a few things. I love that she repackages boxes and packaging and things, and she even has a little note on the inside that asks you to do the same. So the box that is coming in is not the box that maybe yours would come in if you bought from her, because she is recycling items for packaging, and I love that. I try to do the same thing here when I send things out to people. So I think it's a good practice. We can just kind of recycle things and not keep having to create new waste. So this, she tapes it up nice, very, very much. It's very taped very carefully and diligently. So I am taking a little bit of time to get into the box, but once I'm in, it is so worth it. So worth it. So everything comes bubble wrapped because all of her inks are in glass jars, and so everything is bubble wrapped. And then she has a bundle of like little papers and notes and things in there as well. And I'm just kind of digging through because there's a few pieces underneath at the bottom there. And also I'm really loving this black crinkly stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I have lots of that, but it's all brown. This is my first time seeing it in black, and I'm quite excited about that. So I'll probably play with that in my journal at some point, or use it for some collage or art, because I am quite excited about it. Okay, let's get into looking at these beautiful and magnificent inks that I have from her. So I kind of start with just looking through the little notes. So it's a handwritten note. There's her card, her business card, and then a few things that kind of tell you about her inks and what to expect. She has a special instructions for how to find certain blog posts where she's written about how to use natural inks. And then she also just gives you a little warning about keeping the inks away from children and pets, just in case, because they're all made from natural things. So, and then I just love that there's a little bit of ink in the top right corner of that handwritten note that she sent. So as I think about natural inks and using them, I realize that I have never done my own natural inks. I've tea stained papers, I've used flowers to stain papers, but I've never created my own inks. So that kind of got me excited. Opening these packages, these bottles, got me really excited about that. So I am unpacking a few of the bits, and one of the things she sends you is a little eyedropper, but there's only one that came with it, and I've got about 7 bottles from her, give or take. So I found that a little bit interesting, but I guess an eyedropper can be washed, and you don't, it's made out of a glass material. So this first one is a big bottle of avocado ink, and it's so funny because avocado is green, and with a dark green skin, but when you boil the seeds, you get this beautiful pink color that is just magnificent. It's really, really beautiful. And so I'm just going through and opening each of them. She does show you and talk about a little bit about the history of this dark horse ink, which is basically a lamp black ink. It is a really beautiful ink. It has a little bit of grit to it. You can kind of feel the pigments. But what I love about lamp black is that it is a byproduct of fire, and so that got me really excited, and I'll probably say more about that in other artsy type videos. So I'm having a little bit of time trying to get one of these open, so but I finally got it. That's the Concord Grape, and it actually comes with a little bit of a warning and talking about the fermentation, and when don't shake it. When you open it, do it carefully over the top of a sink or a place where you don't care if it kind of explodes, because it can stain. And when I say explode, like, you know, if anything's fermented and it's been bottled up for a while, when you try to open that, it can, you know, fizz out or literally explode. And so she gives you a little bit of warning about that, and that was wrapped with the Concord Grape. And let me tell you, just a little sneak peek ahead here, when I swatched that color, it literally smelled like wine. So that fermenting process is what she's describing. So this one is the Golden Hour, and it turns out that she sent me 2 Golden Hours. I was supposed to get a Golden Hour and a Marigold, but I've already messaged her, and she's already messaged me back and is going to send me out a Marigold. So I'm going to find out if she would like me to send one of these back. If not, I'll do a giveaway of this ink to someone, and I think I might have a second bottle of avocado ink that I can do the same with. So the little lamp black, I had a little bottle of lamp black, a large bottle of lamp black, a little bottle of avocado, and a large bottle of avocado, and then 2 of the Golden Hours. So I'm thinking that I may do a little giveaway of lamp black, Golden Hour, and avocado in the smaller jars. I think that would be fun. And then this one is called Glacier Ink. So again, yes, lots of earthy colors, earth tones, but that purple is leaning towards jewel tone, and so is the Glacier. So let's take a look at them. So I am pulling out my Serendipity Stash box and just popping all of those pieces of twine in there. Because, you know, you never know when you're going to need a little piece of twine to add some texture to a journal page. I love that she has these little pieces of paper sort of tied to the bottles. And then the larger bottles have the name on them. I really love that. I'm going to have to find a way to translate the colors onto the bottles, because, or transfer, I guess, because having those little pieces hanging on there actually isn't very conducive to like opening and working with them. So great for packaging, not functional for like using the inks. So I'm taking out my Swatch With Me Sunday journal from my Franklin Christoph and Catherine Masuk Traveler's Notebook, which I adore. It just feels beautiful in my hand. I love that. So just finding a new page, and again, this is Tomoe River paper. So if you are new here, welcome. I am using a handmade journal that has Tomoe River paper in it, but then I also bring in watercolor paper and add there as well, and you'll see that in a moment here. So I'm just using my Franklin Christoph fountain pen with a music nib to write inks by Melissa Jenkins. And I don't remember if these inks as a collection had a name. They may have, but I just love the look of them. Love the colors. They're really beautiful. So I'm zooming you in a little bit so that you can see the inks a little bit better as I swatch them. The thing I noticed is that the Golden Hour, which is the first one I swatched, came out really light, so I did a second of it and double swatched, like double layered it, so I could see what happens when you start to add a little bit on top of a little bit. So I'm putting down a little bit of canvas here just to give me a surface to work on. So as I begin to swatch these, I noticed that I realized that I probably should not be dipping my paintbrush right into them, but I am using distilled water, and so I'm cleaning my brush between each one of these. But for future reference, you might want to know that it's probably not the best idea just because of cross-contamination, but I was making sure that my brush was pretty clean, and so yeah, that was a realization I had about halfway through. I was like, oh, I shouldn't be dipping directly in here, but I was being a little lazy. I didn't feel like having out a palette and all of that. So if you were doing this, I highly recommend having a little palette well where you can put ink into the little wells, and then that way you don't have to worry about contamination of your inks. So I'm getting all the colors down on the paper and really enjoying the process of just experimenting with them as I go. I am also very much playing with that lamp black. It has a really beautiful gray tone to it that I love, but when it dried, it actually did dry pretty black. Not a deep black, but like a very light black, and I loved that. Now on the black, she did say shake, so she had a little thing in there, a little note there that told us to shake, and I did do that. And I'm glad I did, because there are a lot of little granules in it that I think add to the depth of black, which was very obvious to me when I did it on the watercolor paper. So I continue with swatching. I had a little bit of a time opening that Concord Grape. I could hear it fizz as soon as I popped the seal. I could hear psst, and that made me go really slowly as I was opening the bottle. So, but let me just tell you how much I loved working with this color. It's such a beautiful grape, such a beautiful purple, and it actually looks different on Tomoe River than it does on watercolor paper, and you'll see that towards the end here, which was really pretty amazing. So let's jump into that. So I've gone ahead and added my colors to the watercolor paper, and I think by now, those of you who've been watching a few Swatch With Me Sundays, you know that I like to tear the paper so it has those deckled edges, and then I put a little bit of distress ink pad around the edge to give it a little bit more character. I did the same thing with that little piece of paper where she had written the word shake, and I added that. And now I'm just bringing the previous page over just to sort of smooth out the tape on the back. And there are the colors on watercolor paper. And then I'm just documenting that this is Melissa Mary Jenkins Natural Inks, which I really am, again, super excited about. And you can find her on Instagram. I'll put all of her contact information below, or all of her, the way you can find her. I'll type that all below. I am really excited about this set of inks. I can't wait to play with them in some abstract art that I've been working on, and I'm going to be using them with the dip pen in some of my journaling. So I'll come back and share that part with y'all later. But for now, thank you for joining me for another Swatch With Me Sunday. I'll see you next week. Bye.